This is just a short video on why there probably won't be any other superpowers to rival the United States. Ever since the Soviet Union broke up and the US became the world's only superpower, there has been a lot of speculation whether other countries could also become superpowers. The four most popular candidates for a potential superpower are China, Russia, the European Union, and India. I don't think it's likely any of these countries will become a superpower. China has one of the largest economies in the world. It's greatly reduced the number of people living in poverty in the past few decades, and it's investing heavily in countries in Africa and Latin America. In fact, I think China will probably dominate the continent of Africa in the future in much the same way as European countries did in the 1800s and 1900s. But there are many problems with China too. It's become a manufacturing location for foreign countries, and their economy is dependent on that. Because of the one-child policy, it has a large gender imbalance which could lead to more crime by men who can't find wives. Like many Western nations, it has a low birth rate and an aging population. China has no real allies, and it's widely hated by its neighbors. Russia used to be a superpower when it was the Soviet Union. It's the largest country in the world by area and has lots of natural resources, especially natural gas and oil. But it has a shrinking and aging population, and it doesn't have much global influence except with its allies. The EU has one of the largest economies in the world, and it has strong ties with the US, but it doesn't have much influence outside of Europe, and it doesn't have an army. Much of the defense of the individual countries in the EU is paid for by the US through NATO. Also, the EU might not last much longer. The rise of populism in the last few years has led to more Europeans wanting the EU to break up. Britain will be leaving after the Brexit referendum, and Italy just elected an anti-EU government. India has a growing economy and will overtake China to become the world's most populous country in a few years. But the country also suffers from extreme poverty, and many of its smartest citizens are migrating to other countries, resulting in a significant brain drain. Like China, India has a gender imbalance which could lead to crime from men who can't find wives. One thing all these countries don't have is cultural influence. The US influences the world through Hollywood and popular culture, and well-known brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's. It could be that the influence of these countries and other countries will increase, while the influence of the US decreases, and that already has happened to a certain degree in the past few years. But I don't think any other country will ever become a superpower.